I did post the recording from last session as well.
Oh, okay.
I'm kind of sad that we didn't do like an official introduction, like, hey, this is my name, this is my character.
We'll do that next game. The recordings for this lot are mostly for our own benefit.
Mm.
So next campaign we can start from the start.
I'm just really sad that the people won't know the story, like the background
I don't really have
of
any
what's happening. Huh?
I don't really have any subscribers, so
Right, but like, you never know. On the off chance somebody might like it.
yeah. I think my most viewed video is friggin' one of my AMVs from like 5 years ago. God, this fucking cough. It's almost gone. But it's not quite gone yet. Driving me feckin' nuts. Now, I'm trying to remember what the last thing we did was. So
I don't remember.
We went back to Terek and scavenged what we could off of the bodies that were left, which has already been factored in. Which reminds me, I need to open a couple things up. Very professional of me, you know, just opening my Windows Explorer all over my screen. I'll need that. And god damn it, you're opening on the main screen. That one doesn't matter anyway. Magic item ship, I need that spreadsheet. Okay, so if I remember rightly, we did a little looting from the bodies in Terek. We came back, and Rehne went with Ava to sell all the shit and buy materials. And then we came back. If I remember rightly, and Meg has muted herself. Let them suffer the slurping, Meg. Let them suffer the soup.
I'm eating. I'm sorry. Yeah, everything that I remember from the last time, that sounds about right. So shopping. Oh, you like kind of burned through the town last time too.
Oh yeah, under Kosh's argument of let's not spread disease, so it's like, alright, well, let's just burn down what's left.
Yep,
Meteor swarm up in this bitch.
you definitely did that.
And then disintegrated the dragon corpses. Because they were fireproof. Literally.
Except for the head, which you took as trophies.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's what, 3 dragon heads that we've got as trophies now?
Yeah, is that a problem?
Wow,
No.
Kosh. Kosh is coming through heavily.
I mean, I'm just keeping track. So we've got 2 reds and a blue. So the following day, after all the buying and selling of various items and materials, let's see, where should I set up for this? We'll use the big room. So Ava's going to go to the magic crafting room, and she's gonna start making simulacrums. 12 hours per cast. Takes the 3 bags of, I think it's ruby dust for simulacrum. Like 500 gold's worth of ruby dust per hit die. Or powdered rubies. So 3 bags of powdered rubies, each bag being 5,000 gold's worth. And she just starts casting simulacrum.
Jeez.
It's needed for the crafting. Because we lost about, I think we lost 3 simulacrums the last time the house was attacked, so
Yep.
only one of them survived, and I don't know where that one is on the map currently. I mean, Ice Sculpture is
True.
fucking easy. What was it, V2, I think? Yeah. Should be around somewhere.
Yeah, she should. I might have deleted the token.
You might have deleted the token when we changed the map to this map. This version of it, anyway. It's fine, we can... I think I can actually drop one on the map. Because it should have the... Let's try it. Bop. No, that did not work. She doesn't have a token selected, it's just using her display.
Yeah, I think you're using her as a storefront.
Yeah. Doesn't have to be on the board for purposes of this stuff. Not unless you plan on throwing a dragon that's managed to get through the barrier at us. Or a whole bunch of cultists.
True sight goggles and vorpal blades.
Oh, fucking hell, not again. I mean, it'd be great for the money, but Jesus Christ, not more Vorpal weapons.
I don't think we need more money and to deal with that.
You say that, but considering I know what you've got planned, because I'm having to work out all the DCs for it, there's going to
Fair.
be a lot of money involved in that.
I mean, yeah, but
Kosh needs to go stripping. Earn us that money.
I mean, he's more than happy to go prostitute himself.
Whoa, prostitute and stripping is different. That is not what I'm asking for.
I'm pretty sure you would earn more money just from crafting psionic items than you would from prostituting yourself.
Probably. But why not both?
I mean,
Poor
12 hours of
Jeva's
crafting
heart.
and then go prostitute yourself? I don't fucking know.
Poor Jeva.
Oh, jeez. So, Ava's not planning on sleeping until she's made all 3 simulacrums. She's going 36 hours straight.
Oh. Okay.
It's a 12-hour cast time, and I'm making 3 of them.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I mean, is there anything else that the rest of the party could do to help her?
Not with...
Like any...
Hmm?
Like any items that she needs help procuring, or like just like simple tasks that she needs us to do?
Start going through my list of things. How many, what, 3 capable that aren't busy? Saving those for later. Those Ava's taken care of. Nothing in the list.
Jeez.
Most of the things in the list are either things that will take longer than a day. If anyone else is... It was only 3 of the crafters. Or... just straight up need Ava for them to make progress in any kind of decent fashion. We're dealing with items that are just like insanely expensive at this point.
Right. I mean, does Kosh need to check up on anything or do anything for personal reasons?
Not particularly, no.
Uh, I mean, I definitely think that Rehne would incorporate enough time for her to leave and go and check up on her organization. I don't know how many days that would take, though, for her to get back to.
I
It
mean,
would-
the
I think-
organization's in Sharn.
Nice.
I was going to say, I think it would
So-
depend on where it's based. So if it's based in Sharn, then you could just make a day trip.
Yeah. So I think that she would definitely do that. Just to kind of go up and check on everything, make sure everything's in order. And then also, kind of update them on the whole Tiamat situation. By the way, we might die, kind of things.
By the way, the world's still ending, just so you know.
Yep. Don't get comfortable.
Jeez. So Kosh can do whatever Kosh wants to do. Jeva can do whatever Jeva wants to do, but probably not whoever Jeva wants to do. Nia is taking the time to just adjust to the fact that, it's not exactly home anymore. Getting used to all her new equipment. And Ava is hard burning. Sleep is for the week, 36 hours of pure casting. Ray's gonna come back and see that Ava hasn't slept.
She's going to give Kosh one job. Make sure she sleeps. Yep. And since he's kind of like the sleeping expert, go to sleep. I mean, seems like a pretty good job for him.
Are you gonna have Kosh beat Ava unconscious?
Look, that word never came out of my mouth. Just saying that.
I don't
It was
know about
implied.
that.
I'm pretty sure that he knows how to put people to sleep. Especially, never mind.
Mhm.
A
What's
deep
that?
hole. Nothing. Deep hole that I'm working myself into.
Yeah, oh, what do you want Kosh to work? You want Kosh to work on your deep hole? Is that what you're saying?
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
Wrong character. We know a character that wants that. It's not Rehne.
Mm.
Also, John, I have factored in simulacrum casting into the time it's going to take.
Excellent.
So we're essentially in crafting time now. So you don't have to worry about date until later. Would Rehne end up checking in on Ava?
mean, she'd probably end up checking up on all of them through, as long as the earrings will work.
The
So
earrings. I don't think they would work all the way to your organization because they do have a limit on range.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just trying to figure out where the fuck in my list I put it because there it is. Earring of Whispers Type 2, 800 feet.
Yeah, definitely not.
No.
Your organization is in Lower Dura of Sharn. So way
Okay.
down in the city. You guys are up at the tip top.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, hell, she would probably.
I meant like once she
I
got
want to
back,
say
depending on how long she's taking at her organization.
it just depends on the amount of time that she's needed there. I mean, they're pretty self-sufficient for the most part. However, some things need to be taken care of by her.
Well, you've got
So
at least 36 hours.
So I've got something for Rehne.
excited. I'm dying of anticipation.
Same.
All right, so Rehne, you take a air shuttle down to Lower Dura to a small inn called the Cracked Mirror. You know that the inn is notable for a number of changelings and shifters amongst clientele, and it is also the front for your organization. The shop owner and all of its employees are changelings or doppelgangers. And as you're showing up and checking in with the proprietor, a doppelganger named Zaz, who's currently in the disguise of a male dwarf going by the name of Mrogab.
Okay.
Yeah, that seems like a hard one to pronounce.
Hey, Rehne, checking in? Or are you just passing through?
Depends on the needs of the people. But I'm going to be here for at least a night. So, what's the word around?
Well, everything's running smoothly. Person you put in charge sure knows what they're doing.
As she should. Been at my side long enough. So no hustle and bustle. No information, at least.
Nothing pertaining your organization. You did, however, receive a letter of summons from the
From
most
who?
interesting group.
May I see the summons?
She hands you a sealed envelope. And The seal of the envelope contains a symbol that's kind of a hybridization between that of the traveler and a mask.
How odd. Is my usual room available?
Of course.
All right. I'll take the keys. Make sure that I'm not disturbed.
Can do. Enjoy your
Awesome.
evening.
Thank you. I take the summons with me into my room, making sure that no one else is around before opening the summons.
The letter reads roughly as follows. Our informant, Zaz, has told us quite a lot about you, and we are very interested in meeting you. We believe that your goals and ours align, and we offer an invitation to join us should you assist us in the going-ons in Thrain. Our organization is dedicated to equality to the shifters and changelings who've been persecuted. The current leadership of the Silver Flame is in stark opposition of that. We have a task for you. And should you succeed, you will find yourself among our membership. You are to assassinate High Cardinal Nathaniel Crozen of the Church of the Silver Flame. Signed, the Cabinet of Faces.
I slowly sit the letter down and I'm contemplating. I see no reason not to assassinate the Cardinal. My only fear is that it would take valuable time and resources out of what my party is a part of right now. So there's this inner conflict about whether or not to take the job and be true to my organization, while also knowing that I have other priorities elsewhere. So I'm feeling slightly conflicted. Also, I don't know how they know about my interest solely within like the changeling and doppelganger like mission orient. Typically I'm just an assassin. My organization works solely by my own command about what I do and I have them do. My organization is there for change, typically change and momentum for equality amongst shifters of almost all kinds. But there's that kind of dropped feeling of this undertone within the note that almost seems like they know more. And that puts me a little bit on edge. So I think the first thing that she is going to do is she is going to ask for a personal meeting with Zaz. So at this point, she She lights a candle and she burns the note. And then she's going to exit her room and go up to Morogab. And she's going to simply ask, "Do you know the whereabouts of Zaz?"
Yeah, of course I do. Would you like to meet with her?
Yes, I would.
All right. Um, why don't I have her meet you somewhere private? That way you two can speak without worrying about who's listening.
That'd be perfect, thank you. I'll wait in my quarters. Just inform me when a time and place has been set.
Well, she'll be right up.
Is she in the inn?
Yep.
I'll wait here. You can go and grab her now.
All right. So Rogab walks through a door, and then just a few seconds later, are we in your room or just in the?
Yeah, she came out to ask him to go and get her and that she would wait, but when he mentioned that she was in the inn, she just decided just to wait by the bar.
Okay. Before he went to get her, then he locked up the inn and closed the curtains and stuff.
I'm assuming he had all the patrons leave.
Um,
Because of unless they're wanting complete, like if they're wanting secrecy, then no one should be able to be around unless there's like a cellar or a basement of some sort that they could go to. That's
yeah, he leads you to the basement.
beautiful.
I'll be right back.
Okay.
Take your time.
Murder basement.
Murder basement. More like questioning basement.
All right.
It's a lot
So
of interrogating.
Rogab leads you into the basement, and it's pretty standard as far as inns go. However, there is a shrine dedicated to the keeper,
Hmm.
which instantly catches your eye. And once you're both alone, Rogab transforms into a doppelganger. Surprise! I'm Zaz, she says.
It's very nice to make your acquaintance.
Well, we've met plenty of times before, but it was always in a different form, you know?
Hmm. But the true forms are what matter, correct? Being able to show ourselves as we truly are. Little
It's a
different than
little
having multiple
different for us doppelgangers compared to changelings such as yourself, but it is nice to be able to trust someone and show your true self. So what did that letter say? I can only assume that's why you wanted to speak to me.
The summons was to hire me for a particularly difficult and challenging assassination. However, it's from an organization that wishes to also challenge me to see if I am worthy of joining their ranks. It just seems as if they perhaps know more than what we've released. So I wanted your opinion on their organization and what they've accomplished thus far.
Well, the Cabinet of Faces is a secretive cabal of changelings and doppelgangers working to sway major governments and enterprises towards the equality of changelings and doppelgangers with everyone else. There's not a whole lot of people to know about us, and that's what keeps us safe and able to do the things that we do. We're everywhere. Just as I managed to infiltrate your organization, and the things that you have done to reform it, I truly believe that you'd be able to help guide the Cabinet of Faces in a more peaceful solution. But sometimes we must act in the shadows and do what is best for, well, best for us. We believe that we're the true children of the Traveler. And it's rumored that the leadership are able to convey messages directly from the Traveler, even becoming possessed by the Traveler himself.
How odd.
Yeah, no one really knows what's true. The myth is that the last time that happened was 200 years ago. But the cabinet's ruled by 6 doppelgangers, and they each have their own subordinates and different ways of running things. But based on the mission that they're giving you, they might not just be looking for another run-of-the-mill member.
Are you presuming that they're looking for another guild leader to assist?
Well, it has been nearly a decade since one of the cabinet members went missing.
Missing? Did they investigate?
The mission they went on was high risk, and well, they too were sent to assassinate a high target.
I'm assuming that if I complete this task that they're asking me to, that I will have access to the guild leaders. A personal conference with them.
Mm-hmm.
However, it makes me weary knowing that one of them went missing. And when they attempted to send others out to look for them, and they went missing as well, they did nothing more.
Well, the person that the visage went, or the person the cabinet sent, one of the leaders, they were sent to assassinate High Cardinal Crozon of the Silver Flame, and dealing with the church is always tricky. They have ways of detecting us, you know.
It's going to be troublesome. And not at the most inopportune time. Most opportune time. I'll need all information that they had for their target. And what their initial plans were. And how they were going to go about assassinating him.
Okay. Give me some time and I'll gather up what information I can, and I'll make sure it gets to you.
Perfect. Do you meet with them? Personally?
Do I meet with the leaders?
Yes.
No. I'm just a small fry in the whole scheme of things. But I was the one that put your name forward for membership.
Appreciate the vote of confidence. But I am very much different than your current council. I'm not sure if they would appreciate my way of running things.
Well, one of the main tenets of the Traveler is change. Is it not?
It is. Change is what we hope for. Peacefully, if we can. But sometimes change is rough and chaotic. It's not something that we can control. But it is something that we can help. If your leaders are ready to be exposed to such change, I accept the mission. And when you get that information, just let me know. I'll see what I can do.
Of course. I'll make sure you get the full brief.
Thank you, Zaz.
I'll mention it. She then shapeshifts back into the dwarf. All right, then. Well, if you have any other questions, you know where to find me.
So she follows him out. I don't know if the dwarf male or female.
Zaz is female, but the dwarf is male.
Okay.
Or
So
dwarf
she
form is
follows. She follows him out.
male. Okay.
She looks around at the patrons there, just trying to get a sense and a feel of the atmosphere. Make sure everybody's all right and not looking particularly menacing or shifty.
Well,
Room
everyone's
full of
having a
shifters,
great
and you're looking
time.
for people who look shifty.
funny.
Yeah, there's a couple shifters, arm wrestling, a female half-orc, a surly female half-orc is currently up on stage dancing. And just, waiters and waitresses handing out drinks and lots of cheering and just everyone's having a good time.
After that, she takes leave to go and meet with her second. She spends some time going over everything that needs to be done, everything that needs to be said. Definitely a warning out to everyone that might be dealing with the Silver Flame at this point. Kind of updates on her mission with her other priority at the moment. She also makes mention solely to her about some of the details of her next mission. And then after, probably I would say after dinner, she would return to the inn and inform Rogab about her whereabouts. For the time being. However, should they need to get in contact with her, the best way would be to speak with the second in command. That she'll be able to get in touch with her the easiest.
Okay.
And then she kind of bids them good night and goes to rest. Very simplistic, just checking up and in on everybody. Like a good leader do. Rests for about 2 hours. Wakes up. Tidies up her little area, and she says her farewells, and then heads back to the party. This new contemplation. Of what she's going to do with assassinating the Cardinal of the Silver Flame without ending up the same as the others that have tried.
I think by the time Rehne gets back, Ava would be casting, or well into the casting for the second simulacrum.
Okay.
Because I'm figuring she's been gone for more than 12 hours.
Kosh and Jeva just be practicing their fighting styles and
There's a dojo
assisting.
for that. Right
yeah,
here.
exactly.
Yeah.
All right. Well, there I am.
I made a fighting room specifically because... Kosh.
It needs to be reinforced.
It needs to be reinforced that you don't fight anywhere else except in here, because
It's like
she
a-
doesn't want to fix the mess.
It's like a gravity chamber for a bunch of fucking Super Saiyans.
It's a hyperbolic time chamber.
Yes.
Hypoglycemic lion tamer.
Yeah, that.
You can make one of those.
I could. Demiplane.
But after what we've talked about, as far as what the demiplane is going to be used for eventually.
Oh, yeah. The demiplane in the mansion.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, boy.
Is there an actual source that I can read about the cardinal?
Yes.
Do some actual reading. Like a good player do.
I was going to say, I thought we were here to RP, not to read.
Hey, look, like she's gonna come back with material to read.
First there's math, now there's reading. What the?
Why is there math and reading in my
hard.
game?
Politics.
Fucking politics.
Which is
Thud.
exactly what she's taking care of right now is politics. That's a new token, isn't it?
What's a new token?
Ava's new token.
No, that's her old token. That's the one that we're
That's
using
her
for the
old token?
Yeah, that's the one we're using for the Ava Lacrims. Ava is over here.
Oh, okay. I was like, what the fuck? I was so confused.
Yeah, no, that was Ava's original token.
It's been so long.
It has.
It's been so long. She's gonna pull one of those old, it's just like a plain book cover, and she has all of this information slammed in the book cover, but she has it so precisely made so it looks like she's reading an actual book where she's actually just reading about the person she's going to assassinate the fuck out of. So she's carrying around this book. I'm pretty sure this is what soundproof. Did she make it soundproof? Can I hear the beating of flesh?
You can probably hear them fighting, yes.
Okay. All right.
Ava didn't think of soundproofing the dojo.
Someone might want to eventually.
No fucking in the dojo.
That should be a sign.
This is for fighting, not sex.
1F, not 2. She kind of says her greetings to Nia on the way in. Kind of ask how she's doing.
She's still kind of examining. God damn it. Roll 20. Why you do this? Doesn't like multiple character sheets being open at all. Unless one is in another window. So she's still trying to get used to the gear. Hang on a sec. So she's kind of testing out some of the abilities of the gear that she's got now. So you'd see her with Ava's old hat as well, the old hat
Kind of
disguise.
tinkering with it.
Yeah, kind of toying around with it. Seeing her change forms and outfits before reverting back to what she's wearing. Which does look like her display picture.
Good. She just comments, I told you that you would never stay the same once Ava started giving you your possessions.
Yeah, you weren't kidding.
Mm-mm. She definitely has a way of changing people. But I will allow you to delve ever deeper into the materials that she's given you. Where is she, by the way?
In one of the crafting rooms. I think it was the one on, and she kind of gestures in this direction, with that side of the hallway. Which, the only other two rooms on that side of the house on that floor are offices.
Right. All right, well, thank you. Don't get too enraptured in all of it. Do one piece at a time.
You can
Tends
see
to
a
make things a
couple
little
different
easier.
scrolls as well on the table in front of her. That look like spell scrolls.
Does she have you learning anything powerful?
She said I was missing a few things that are what she calls standard gear.
Such as?
While I pull them up, they're in a separate spreadsheet. Mage armor being one of them. Never thought I'd need a spell like that. A couple of different teleport spells. Wall of Ice and Wall of Fire. Apparently they're what she classifies as things that should be standard.
I would have to agree.
And one called Mage's Magnificent Mansion.
That's also a very important one.
Still not entirely sure what that one does, but I'm sure I'll work it out.
I mean, there's got to be plenty of books that spell out what Ava is doing. Just if you take the time to research.
There are so many books. She has a library.
Indefinitely so. Yes. Yes. Well, I mean, I'm not necessarily the most magically inclined, but with the knowledge that Ava has procured, it'd be unimaginable if she didn't have at least one library.
She has more than one?
Probably. I mean, the mansion that we've been in had several. She has vast knowledge. I'll be surprised if she doesn't write one of her own, or several of her own, by the time that she's done adventuring.
Well, that would be an interesting read.
It'd be a shame if she didn't, but there are certain things that you learn that you don't necessarily want to tell anybody else. Everyone has their secrets. But all in due time. We have to make sure that we're keeping ourselves on schedule. If we don't, we know what'll happen.
Ava will come downstairs and start cracking the whip.
Very colorful way to put it, but yes. Yes, she will. And speaking of her, I'm going to go and bug her, make sure that she's not overworking herself after I check up on Kosh and Jeva and Sai.
Have fun
But if you're
with
ever
that.
curious about anything, just dip into the library.
Gonna
Got to
have
be
to find it.
information in there. There is a library in this house, correct?
I didn't originally plan for one, no. There's probably some bookshelves or something probably in the basement, considering how much space there is.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
there's got to be books.
Oh,
Ava's she's a goddamn spellcaster. She better have some books.
there'll be books.
tomes of some sort.
Oh yeah, there's definitely books. They're probably
Good.
mostly stored, like, in the basement area, just on bookshelves.
Is,
Where the
is
couches
Ava
are, so you can
organized?
comfortably read without having to sit at a desk.
Right.
I mean, they're probably organized.
I mean, Ava seems kind of. Well, no, she doesn't. She had fucking papers everywhere on her desk. She's not organized at all.
To be fair, she was still in the middle of making that list.
She's like throwing paper on the floor, like
Correction,
organized
the
chaos,
papers were
maybe.
sliding off the desk because there were so many papers on the desk.
All right. So she makes her way down. She can
Up.
up. All
I
right,
know.
look, we need to put floors right here. And Megan is like directionally challenged. She
I
needs a
mean-
fucking compass.
The only reason I know is because I made the damn map.
Exactly. The map needs to have like fucking
Basement,
floor
ground
one.
floor, second
Yes.
floor, third floor.
Yes. Give me deets. I need deets. All right. So she makes her way up. She can obviously hear that there's intense training going on. She's just gonna peek into the room and hope to God, like, someone's not flying out of it. So she's gonna step to the side when she opens the door.
Just suddenly a flying Jeva.
Or Kosh. Or Sai.
So yeah, you just see Jeva and Kosh sparring and practicing grapples and blows.
Is she enjoying practicing grapples?
I mean,
blows.
Well, I didn't say that one.
I mean, she's enjoying training.
That's good. How is Sai?
Sai's just sitting there watching, analyzing.
Oh, nice.
There we go. To the left of each floor, there is now a thing saying what floor they're on.
Okay.
Because we don't have a magic elevator that says, you are on the second floor.
Basement, ground floor, first floor, second. Awesome. I like this. Thank you.
And John is turning
So
more white.
she's not going to take away from their focus just because they got their asses handed to them the last time that they tried to fight. So there's definite need for some training. All right, and she goes up to the second floor, taking the directions from Nia. Goes over. Is the door closed or open?
The door would be closed.
All right. She's doing this a lot lately. She knocks.
You can hear the faint mutterings of spellcasting.
She doesn't want to intrude.
It's not locked. But you do hear that she is casting.
Okay. So she enters very gingerly. She doesn't want to interrupt.
So I'm assuming at this point we're on next day, which means she would be casting for the third time. So there are now 2 empty bags on one of the tables, along with a third ice sculpture and bag of powdered rubies currently being worked through.
So when she's done casting, because you said that she's on her third one, right? Do they
Yes.
do the Averlacrums just like appear?
I'm assuming that it's very much a flavor thing for that. Let me have a look
Okay,
at the
so what
spell.
would? Oh goodness.
Well, the ice crystal turns into the similar.
Yeah.
So it kind of just animates.
Okay.
Changes to look. Well, it already looks like her because it's an ice sculpture of her.
It
But
gains skin tone and
yeah,
whatnot.
Okay.
And they're all dressed.
Okay.
You've been gone long enough that the two that are finished have been dressed.
Wait a minute. Are you telling me that this ice sculpture that's made is naked?
I mean,
It's
I'm
a naked
assuming
ice.
so.
Wow.
I'm assuming the
I mean-
simulacrum doesn't come with clothes.
I mean it's an ice sculpture. You can sculpt it with clothing.
Fuck it, it has clothing.
I was
Oh,
like,
Ava
God.
didn't know this. Ava thought be nude.
Well,
who
the
has
others are
sculpted
clothed.
Ava nude? Like, I would be upset. Like, if I had to stand there while someone sculpted me naked with ice in the room, I would be upset.
Yeah, they're sculpted with clothing.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. So they're just in there with you as you're summoning another one?
Yeah, it takes a while, so it's probably not until lunchtime that day that she's finished casting.
Okay.
So-
So she'd literally just sit down with her book, air quotes, and she would just read while she waits for Ava to get done. That's what she would spend her time doing, even though on the inside she's secretly judging, staying up for 30 some odd hours just trying to make Ava lacrums.
36.
But I mean, 36 hours. But she is an adult. She can make her own choices. It's just those choices are, when they become too detrimental, it's definitely going to be a problem. Because they're trying not to die. At least that's the hope, that everyone is trying not to die and we don't have a fucking Tanner in the group. But
One Night Ultimate Werewolf.
yeah, love that game.
I
But
have that
it's I have that game. Love it. But she wants to make sure that everyone's doing their best to become better and not strip themselves of sanity and ability before tackling on so much. So yeah, she'll just spend her time reading
I like how
while
you
Ava.
specified stripping yourself from sanity, considering everything we've talked about with these two so far.
Yep. Well, I mean, when you don't have sleep, when you have that kind of either insomnia or just if you're so focused on a task that you don't go to sleep, that slowly makes your mind slip.
Mm-hmm.
That's basic. Unless you're a creature that doesn't need sleep, but at least 2 hours of sleep for each and every one of them per day. And she knows that she's not reaching that. So it's concerning.
Mm.
So yeah, she just sits there while Ava sputters off her spells to make her fully clothed. Ava Lacrums.
When she does finally finish, she leans up against the table. So how long have you been sat there?
For as long as it took you to finish your last Ava Lacrum.
Just kind of rubs one of her eyes.
Assuming you haven't slept.
No, I have not. It's like I've
You
been
need
saying.
sleep.
And for once I'm considering it.
Good.
After I have a bath. This spell is it's a very long one. And I haven't stopped since... And you see her trying to work out how, like, when she started casting,
Mhm.
and it's just not coming to her.
Are you going to fall asleep in the bath?
I don't
Maybe
think so.
one of the Everlacrums needs to be in with you while you attempt to shower
I
or
can shower
bathe.
myself.
I'm not asking them to help you shower or bathe. I'm asking them to keep an eye on you. If you're not able to recall the amount of time that you've spent casting, I would hate to walk into the tub hours later after your disappearance and find you that you've drowned.
Bit hard for me to drown while I have this, and she kind of pulls on the necklace a little bit. Remember, I have that enchantment that lets me breathe in any environment.
Keep it on while you shower.
I never take it off. I'll be fine. I'm just a bit exhausted.
I'm gonna check on you in half an hour. If you're not done, I'm coming in.
Alright. I'll be fine, though.
Mm.
She goes off to clean up.
Do the Everlacrums wear exactly what Ava is wearing?
No, it's a slightly different outfit.
Oh, good.
More of a blue than Ava's white robe.
Okay. It'd be very it'd be very depressing to walk up to one of them and start speaking to them as if she's her and then have to be like, We're not her. And it's like, God
Oh, you want
damn
Ava
it, we're the
Prime? She's
real
up
one.
there.
Right. So she makes her way back to her room where she spends at least a half an hour reading, catching up on all of the material. Said upon arrival of that half an hour, she steps out and knocks on the door. Still with us?
No response.
Oh my gosh. She knocks louder. Ava? Are you there? Checks if the door is locked.
One, it isn't. Two, it is. She forgot to lock the door.
She walks inside.
Rude.
Look, she fucking told her. She fucking told her. Is she asleep? Is she actually asleep in the bed? Or in the
She
bath?
has fallen asleep in the bathtub. Head's kind of resting against the edge of it, arms on the sides. She is passed the fuck out.
She sighs. She's like, all right. She like nudges her shoulder. Ava. Ava, you fell asleep.
Mm.
You fell asleep. You're in the tub. Like, you're ridiculous. she Okay, this is gonna get risky. All right, so first things first, she kind of, as gingerly and as politely as she can, she moves Ava's legs so that she can unhook the nozzle so it starts draining the water. She goes out of the room, into her room, grabs pajamas, sets them on the end of the bed, goes back in, makes sure that all of the water is drained. She's like, okay. She grabs the nearest towel. She's like, I don't know if this is going to work, but we're going to work with it. So she like, what is Kosh doing?
No, that's like an instinctual muttering when you say you're ridiculous.
Hmm?
Nice.
Oh.
Kosh is ridiculous. All right, so she waits until all the water is gone. Ava, you need to help me out here. I'm going to help you get to your room, but you need to help. Just a little bit.
She's like 75% asleep.
Okay.
Like,
So
she has enough awareness to react and move. She's not going to remember any of this.
Yep, that's perfectly fine. So she helps her stand, albeit wobbly, but she helps her stand. She helps her get 1 foot and 2 feet out of the bathtub. And then she grabs the towel, wraps the towel around her body so that she's not exposed. All the while, mentally, she's like, I knew I should have just sent one of them in there with her. She's like chastising herself for not following her base instinct. She's like, I knew it. I knew it, and I hate myself.
I fucking called it.
I called it.
Someone pick up that speaking stone because I fucking called it.
She picks up her clothing, puts her clothing on off of one arm, uses her other arm to pull around her waist, taking her one of Ava's arms over her shoulders, and proceeds to go to the door with her. Looks around, makes sure no one is there, and then they very carefully, yet very slowly, make her way to her room. Inside the room, she puts her dirty clothing in a hamper. Pretty sure they have those there. She sits Ava down on the bed and
Basically, once she's sat on the bed, she just kind of flops to the side.
she's just like, she places both of her hands like on her temples, like 2 digits off of each finger, and just rubs like, oh god. She's like, are her PJs like a pant and shirt combo or just a long shirt? What does she wear typically for PJs?
Basically, pants and a singlet.
Great. Okay. We're gonna learn a lot about Ava tonight, like right now. Does she wear underwear to bed? That's a gamble that she's gonna have to take. She's like, either I put her in no underwear and she thinks I'm a freak for not putting her in underwear, or I do put her in underwear and she wakes up like, hey, I don't usually put underwear on. Who dressed me? So like, this is like the whole conundrum that she's going through right now, like in her brain. It's like,
I would say yes.
I mean, you would, but she doesn't know that.
Yeah.
So it's like, she's like, either way, I'm fucked. Like, if I get this wrong, I'm
She's
fucked.
already seen her naked at this point.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, she's trying not to focus on that. She's like, this isn't really my place. She didn't necessarily accept my help. I'm pretty sure I wasn't supposed to see her naked, but I definitely have now. But she's been very careful to not linger, like her gaze. She just, it's something that she's going to have difficulty with the next part. Fuck. Kosh, flip the coin of fate, if you would. 1 for underwear, 2 for no underwear. Okay. We're doing no undies right now. So she's like,
50-50
okay,
shot.
well, yep, 50-50. She's all right, no underwear. So she goes over. She turns her so that she's completely flat on the bed. She closes the door and locks it first. She will not make that mistake. So she goes over, closes the door, locks the door. Unravels the towel from her form, puts the towel in the bin, or on the side of the bin so that it doesn't
So it can dry.
mix with... Right. She wants to make sure that the original items that she's wearing, that they don't mildew because, wet on top of dry.
I mean,
Then she goes over.
she's usually in her magic gear, and magic gear tends to be protected, so...
She's being thoughtful.
Yeah.
Again, not magically inclined. She doesn't do the magicking. She just wears it. So,
Yeah.
being preemptive in that aspect. Then she goes over and she grabs the pants and she pulls it over one foot and over the other. So it's kind of like she's on the bed, completely laid out on her back, and Rehne is at the very foot of the bed doing 1 foot at a time, and then puts her knee on the bed. So, like, if Kosh were to walk in, it would look very much promiscuous. It would look very, very intimate. But so as she's working her way onto the bed, instead of one of the people that like slowly is taking somebody's items off, she's kind of sliding them on. But like as soon as she gets like up to the knee, she like tilts her head up to the ceiling so that she's giving her privacy. And then, does Ava have a donk?
I'm not sure what you mean by that.
Does she have an ass? Like, how thick and juicy is she? Like, give me some beats.
Details that I never thought of when I made this character.
And hey, I didn't think that we'd ever get like this.
You didn't think we'd get this far actually in-game?
I didn't think that my character would end up getting your character out of a tub soaking wet and it not be due to her. But now she's awkwardly trying to dress your character while she's asleep.
I'd say reasonable.
Okay, so as she is
So it's not
sliding...
like the two booty that you saw yesterday with the Final Fantasy stuff.
Oh, yeah,
Making
okay.
Amanda's character. It's not quite that, but it's not nothing.
Okay, good. Okay. But so as she is sliding up these pants, because Ava is always in basically a dress, she's never really... Oh, I mean, yeah, because she didn't really see her at the spring. She didn't actually see her nude.
No, she didn't. She used disguise self before getting undressed.
Right. So as she tries to pull the pant all the way up, it doesn't work. It gets caught. And she's like, okay. All right.
It got caught on the booty.
It did. Get caught on the booty. So she tips Ava to the side a little bit and then reaches one hand completely around and she has basically both sides of the pants, and she's like, okay, it's going to be a 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to tug. She goes 1, 2, 3, and she goes boop, and she can just feel the fabric. Like, it's resisting her because she's still partially damp. So she feels kind of that resistance, but she goes oof, and finally gets it over. But as she does, she kind of like that kind of motion and not being really on a secured surface because it's a bed.
Yep.
She slips. And as she slips, she kind of falls right on top of Ava, back down onto the bed. So Ava is now plastered back onto her bed with her back on the fabric, the sheets, and her face, when it tilts back up, because she basically landed right in the middle of her torso. As she like pulls her face back up, it's just like she sees mounds in front of her, and she's like, oh goodness. She's like, at this point she's blushing. She doesn't necessarily understand why this is making her feel so uncomfortable. She's
Brandon is going to
had
count that as a win, considering how many times that Rehne has made Ava blush.
yeah, it's a good thing she won't remember.
Yeah.
But she's like, oh my goodness. She's like, I don't really get flustered when it comes to sex. So why am I so flustered with this woman who's been my companion for this long? She doesn't comprehend. She doesn't understand. So as soon as she can, she gets her hands back and settled. But now it kind of just looks like she's straddling her, which makes her even more uncomfortable. And being uncomfortable in this position is slightly not only flustering her in this confusing way, but also because she doesn't understand, it's also making her a little angry. But she's like, I don't have time for this. I can think about this later. I can delve into this later, or I can completely forget it ever happened.
I get the feeling that the moment she thinks, I don't have time for this, it's in Ava's voice, considering how much she's said that recently.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. She then goes and she grabs the top, and she's like, okay, Ava has increasingly long hair. Like, she's got very long hair, and it's probably damp.
It was washed.
It was washed. Was it hanging outside of the bathtub? Was it like somewhat dry or drying?
50-50.
Coin of fate. Choose one or two. Kosh, coin of fate.
One, it was on the outside of the tub.
Yes. Awesome. So it's kind of semi-dry. So what she does is she pulls over the top of it, slides her hair or her hand gently across her neck, pulls the hair up and out, and lays it kind of above her.
So when she's moving across the neck, she can feel the scar going all the way around Ava's neck.
It makes her sad and angry, and even more emotions that she doesn't want to be like thinking about. So when she tosses Ava's hair out from like the collar of her gown, it's like very angry and flashy, but not necessarily enough to tug and hurt. But it's kind of like her hair does this like billowing fall. And now she kind of she like sits back. She's like trying to adjust her shoulders with the fabric. She kind of just stops for a second, and she looks at Ava's face. She's just like, I can't believe you're making me do this. I specifically asked you if you were too tired to have, to be able to go to a bath by yourself. Now I can never trust you again. I can never trust you to just go and have a simple bath when you're tired.
At least
She
not when
kinda,
she's
like-
36 hours straight.
Yep. And she peers down at her neck, and she sees the scar. And she's never necessarily seen it up and close in person.
Yeah, she's mostly
But-
seen Ava just kind of rubbing at it on occasion.
Or covering it.
Or covering it.
Yeah. And she doesn't like it. She doesn't like seeing it. It makes her feel guilty. For some odd reason. And she doesn't like feeling guilty. Or responsible. So her face kind of darkens, her mood kind of darkens, and she just carefully takes one of her arms and feeds it through the sleeve. And then she kind of tugs that side down, and she goes over to the other arm and does the same thing until she's fully dressed. So we talked about how gifted she was in the Badonkadonk area. How
How
gifted?
well endowed is she?
Yes, how gifted is she?
Present but not massive.
So she doesn't necessarily have too much trouble kind of laying the top over and
No.
wiggling it down to her to sit nicely and snugly in place.
Kind of like the display picture that I've got for her.
Okay, yeah, that's perfect. Oh, yeah. No, she's good. She's good. She's good. She's not like anime, oh my god, what happened to you? They're bigger than your head.
Yeah, no, if you've seen
But-
Bleach, she's not a Rehne.
Yeah, okay, good. Jesus, that'd break somebody's back.
I feel so sorry for some women who have massive boobs, just like,
Uh-huh.
your back must be killing you.
I know somebody exactly like that. I think she's like a triple K.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, and she has massive back problems. Massive. I'm like, I don't understand why
I do
why
not
that's
either.
happened to you.
I don't
but
understand
I'm
the
sorry.
appeal of such sizes.
I mean, I feel for the person that has to deal with them.
That's
You
why I
can
don't see
love
the
them.
appeal.
Yeah, you can love them all day long if you want to from afar, but damn, you got to celebrate that bitch for having to carry them. Anyway, back on task. So she gets everything nicely into place, and then she sits Ava up, and she
Like, how up?
sitting position. So she takes her by the shoulders. She kind of loops her arms around her, and kind of. I'm guessing all of these beds have headboards or are
Yeah.
Flush against the.
Or thereabouts, yeah. I know that
Yeah.
there's a little gap there, but that was more just map making than anything else.
Okay. All right. So she loops her arms underneath Ava's and does a little wiggle dance basically to get her all the way seated. And
And you just see that Ava's slump forward a little bit.
she's like, I know
But
that's
she's
not
out.
comfortable. Yep. She looks around her room, around her desk and everything, for any kind of string or a tie. She's guessing at some point Ava puts her hair up.
Not usually when she's sleeping.
Really? She doesn't know that though.
No, she doesn't. 50-50,
So
what does
she's
she
looking.
do? Two for
50-50.
2 for tie up, 1 for not tie up. Coin of fate.
Oh, if she does?
Yeah.
Wait, if Ava does, if she usually does? You said 1 for what she doesn't, 2 for she does?
So Ava doesn't typically. I was more thinking of what Rehne does.
Oh, I mean, Rehne's gonna put it up.
Okay.
Like her mindset is she has really long hair, so braiding it, she's gonna know. She's gonna know somebody dressed her and everything else. She's gonna know it's not her. But she's just thinking that, God, that's a massive amount of hair. If you slept with it just as it is, it's going to tangle. So in her mind, she is like, I'm going to save her some of the grief so that when she wakes up, her hair is not a complete ratty mess. So she goes and she finds either a string or a tie, depending on what Ava would have more of. So what would Ava have more of in her room? Ties or string?
Probably not string. Probably
So
something.
she'd go with like a ribbon.
Probably some kind of ribbon, I would think.
Okay, so she finds this ribbon. She goes over to the now seated Ava and she kind of scoots her forward. It's a light blue. Oh, perfect. That's actually what I had in mind, but I wasn't going to say it. So she scoots Ava forward and she kind of crawls behind her. And she separates her hair into 3 different sections. And then she starts to braid her hair, just very delicately taking her hair and braiding it, making sure that it's not too tight or too loose. And all the while, she's kind of thinking about, why am I doing this? Why am I taking this extra step when I could just leave her here and let her rest? So that kind of spirals into this whole like why session. Why have I stayed with them for so long? I know that the end of the world is coming, but with my organization, I could be doing more on my own than with them and possibly succeed. So why have I stayed? Why am I upset at the fact that both Ava and Kosh have died? They're back, but they shouldn't matter to me anyway. Why do I enjoy their company when they don't actually know me for who I am, for what I am? Why didn't she react the same way that everyone else reacts when she found out that I was a changeling? And it's kind of like all of these thoughts are ruminating in her mind as she kind of dwindles down the hair until she gets to the very bottom. She kind of ties it off with the ribbon, but she doesn't necessarily move right away.
So this might ruin the tone, but who is this girl I see?
Oh, good. Oh,
It's applicable.
confliction. Oh, goodness. I mean, we have Rhythm Bot, right? You can play it if you wanted to.
I don't know if that's appropriate.
I mean, if we're talking inappropriate, we could go with the very cheesy music.
I mean, I can stir something up unless John wants to grab it.
Yeah, maybe not for this.
So she finishes up and she's just sitting behind this woman that she's known for 7+ years and is just now noticing that there is not just an attachment to her, but to also the whole party. Which is something that she isn't accustomed to. She doesn't do this. The reason that she has these other personas is to make sure that she doesn't get attached. So now she's going over whether or not to leave. If leaving is even an option. Because there's a part of her that is screaming to get out right now. It isn't safe. Being attached to people and trying to help them typically leads to somebody's downfall. Emotions cannot be a part of, or aren't typically a part of what she tries to do. And she's trying to assess the whole situation as an assassin, because that's basically what she categorizes herself as.
And the
She
person in front of
is,
her is entirely helpless at the moment.
yeah. And it's like she made mention that she was going to go and check up on her. And now she's seeing these little instances, like little flashbacks of moments not too far in the past where she's taken extra steps that she typically wouldn't to try and elevate the party. Like just the other night when they were playing cards or Dragon's Ante. And that she's been checking up on Ava and that she's been checking up on Kosh and how she feels sympathetic towards Jeva's attraction to Kosh and not being reciprocated as and Kosh is just completely oblivious to it. She feels for them. But at the same time, she doesn't want to run. Because it kind of reminds her of the time when her family was together and they were happy.
You're still sat behind Ava at the moment, aren't
Yeah.
you?
Yeah, she's still there. She's just like still. Like all of these thoughts are just bustling in her mind.
You see her
So she hasn't
slowly
moved.
start to flop back towards the bed before gravity takes over and she does, with a soft thump, land on the bed. She kind of curls up a
Well, they
little
were.
bit.
She like it kind of pops her out of her own mind, and she wiggles off of the bed herself. She folds. She takes the covers, and though there's resistance because there is a body laying down, she gets the covers to a point where she can then take them and cover Ava up. She takes one more like look at her. And she goes and she turns out the light, unlocks the door, exits, slowly closing the door and softly closing the door behind her.
Just as you're about to close the door, you just hear very quietly out of Ava.
She doesn't really say anything, but there's a prickling along her skin. She closes the door and then goes into her own room. She doesn't want to delve any deeper into what it means. She made sure to grab her book on the way out.
As a point to note as well, that wasn't in common. That was in the language that you heard her speaking after she fell asleep the night that she found out that you were a changeling.
I don't know one yet. Do I? Do I know that one yet? No, I don't know yet. I mean, I think I took it, but I'm going to say that
You've taken
for
it,
all
but because
intents
you
and
haven't finished the books yet, you haven't learned it, though you
learned
recognize the
it.
sounds.
Yes.
Especially since I
She
think
goes,
you've got Draconic. You had Draconic before the book as well, so there are
yes.
some sounds in there that do sound Draconic in nature.
Okay. And then she goes back to her own room, and instead of delving even deeper into the massive rabbit hole that she has just found herself in, she opens up the book about Nathaniel Crozin and completely switches on work mode so that she can focus. She spends the rest of her night reading. And that was a great session tonight, guys. Thank you so much.
We ain't done yet.
Goodness. Oh, so many feels. Oh,
All
you
the
were wanting
feels.
progression.
Yes.
There you go. Fucking progression. Now she's going to be angsty. I hope you're ready. Okay. So that's her. And I'm going to take a brief pause because I need it. And I will be right back. So if you guys want to continue in some way without me, that's perfectly fine. But I will be back in a couple of minutes.
So it'll probably be the early hours of the morning before Ava wakes up, despite only needing a couple of hours sleep, because she went on a 36-hour stint of pure casting. That shit's intense. And I feel like I have to wait for Meg to get back for the bits now. Cause shit! That was good! Something tells me that there'd be regular games of Three Dragon Ante between the three.
Possibly.
Well, for Nia, it's just she's having fun playing a game. Don't know how Jeva feels about it.
She enjoys it. It's time she gets to spend not training.
But how does she feel about the participation of Neo?
She's not ecstatic about it, but
Not overly enthused.
yeah.
I shall BRB momentarily.
Okay.
So there's nothing you're wanting to RP?
No, not particularly. Like essentially, I wasn't sure when morning came, but essentially what happened was Kosh and Jeva were just training in the dojo until they became exhausted, and Kosh laid down to rest and ended up falling asleep on the floor. And Jeva laid down beside him, leaning on him.
Okay.
So that's where they laid for the evening. I know I'm not as exciting as Rehne and Ava, but
It just takes experience RPing. The more you do it, the better you get at improvising. They might have planned some of their dialogue, so
yeah.
but yeah, just a lot of times kind of passing over this break, and I think we're on day 3 or something.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, essentially, to Kosh and Jeva, it's just another day. Another
Okay.
day they're not out
Okay, I'm back.
in the field.
okay, so they're basically just doing their usual routine of training.
Yeah, training, but this time Kosh passed out from being so tired, and Jeva ended up curling up next to him and fell asleep in the dojo. Just moments that Jeva can appreciate that she doesn't get when they're out traveling.
Lots of little bits. I take it Meg's not back yet?
Not yet.
Ah. I need her back for when Ava wakes up and how she's going to react.
Gents, I am back.
Welcome
Okay.
back.
And before we continue, I just had everything on mute so I could hear everything. Fucking Kosh and Jeva are so fucking cute. So cute. And then Brandon, your need for me so that you can continue.
Yes.
You can continue now. You're good. It's,
So it's not until the early hours of the next morning that Ava wakes up, given that she did a 36-hour straight stint of casting, which is not exactly the easiest thing to do. Casting tends to take a lot of effort, if not so much mentally, physically, definitely mentally. So she kind of wakes up bleary-eyed and sits up. And she can feel her hair's not loose. Sits there for a minute, because she doesn't remember putting it up. But the last thing that she remembers is going towards the bathroom to clean up. And she sits there for a minute wondering just how tired was she? And she starts moving around. She can feel she's also not wearing underwear. Which leaves her wondering even more just how tired was she to forget that? To just put her pajamas on and just go straight to bed. So he goes over to the hamper, casts prestidigitation on it, then puts all her usual gear back on. having never taken off her rings and her necklace. And comes wandering out. Hair left hair left done up. She can't be bothered taking it down. So she is, the entire time she's making her way downstairs, she is wondering, like, did she put it up? Did she not put it up? She can't freaking remember. What vault would they be in? Probably Vault 1. So he goes down to Vault 1 and starts gathering some of the material components necessary for the beginnings of the crafting. Takes them upstairs and gets them set up in the magic crafting room, ready to go. Before grabbing several scrolls that she'd purchased for herself when she and her were there. She and Rehne were out purchasing material components and selling off the loot. Goes into one of the offices and spends... Which of the spells do I want to learn first? Yeah, spends about... that's probably what? 2 o'clock in the morning? We'll say 6 hours. Copying a few spells.
So about halfway into that, so we'll say about 3 hours after Ava woke up, Rehne kind of exits.
That's enough for one of the spells.
She goes over and she knocks on Ava's bedroom door after not having a response the next 2 times that she knocks. She kind of opens the door and she peers inside, assuming that it's unlocked.
Yeah, she's not in there, so...
Not seeing her in there, she decides to go to the place that Ava typically is in.
Okay, there's about 2 or 3 spots. You're going to have to be a little bit more specific, because if she's not in here,
okay.
She's in here.
Right. So she steps down, and if all the doors are closed, then she would just be like, I know that she was working on casting spells, so she'll start with this room, which is the room that she was in first. And she knocks on the door.
Gets 4 responses, all of it's open.
Steps inside.
Wait. You see all 4 Ava Lacrims.
So, besides the apparent response that I'm going to receive when I ask where Ava is, we're going to need names for you.
They all kind of look at each other. I'm not entirely sure how to do these ones. So let's go...
It's like, so Rehne just kind of sits there for a minute and she goes, well, Ava is Ava. So then we're going to have Ave, AV, and Avo, or Evo. She's just going A-E-I-O-U.
Eva.
We don't have like single number ones. Otherwise, I was going to like 1, 2. Actually, we could use the 10s for it. So this one shall be Ava 1 with the 10. This one shall be Ava 2. This one shall be 3. And this one shall be 4.
And then starting from 1, 2, 3, and 4, she'll be like, Ave. It's A-E-I. So A-V. One second. I just want to make sure that I'm A-E-I-O-U. So the first one will be Ave. Number 2 will be AV. Number 3 will be Evo. And Avu. There we go. That's how she names them. She's like, you guys won't choose names, so I just named them. She's like, congratulations, you all have your own names.
But we're all Ava, technically.
Yes, technically, but I can't ask for Ava and get 5 Avas in return.
I mean, I think we would know who you were talking about.
Yes. Distinguishing you from her might help other people.
Maybe we need badges.
Or just nameplates. Go around with nameplates.
They kind of start discussing amongst themselves how how they're going to keep themselves identified from anyone else so people don't get confused.
Get a Sharpie.
And then
Number 1 on the forehead. Number 2.
Oh, that'd be terrible. Oh, goodness. All right, so she takes
So
her
you buy
leave while
3
they're
pigs.
discussing.
You write 1, 2, and 4 on each one of them. You set them
Yes.
loose in the school and watch the police run around trying to find number 3.
It's terrible. So she walks up to the door and she knocks.
It's open.
Yep, and she mimics. So, like, when Ava starts to say it, she says it too. And then she just walks inside.
And you can see she's got 3 scrolls, one of which is now blank.
Are those as taxing as what you were doing last night?
More time consuming. Copying and
What about...
casting are very different.
So, physically, you're going to be fine.
I should be. I'm not doing this all day. We've got to start the crafts. I just figured
Good.
the others weren't awake yet, so make some use of the time.
Of course. So you don't mind if I sit and read while you...
Saying that like I could stop you.
You could. Saying no is very powerful in this house.
Fair. Haven't stopped
However,
you before, though.
before you continue, might I give you a word of advice?
Hmm?
The next time that you plan on casting for so long, that you don't decide to go and have a bath afterwards. And then she just kind of picks up her book and opens it. Doesn't say much anymore.
Everyone can see that Ava's hair still is as she'd left it the night before. Like she hasn't undone it. It's still in that braid.
Yep. She doesn't make any mention. She just continues to read.
Just kind of sitting there. I needed to clean myself. 36? 36? Jesus, I cast for 36 hours straight. No wonder I don't remember going for my bath.
I'd be surprised if you did. In a couple of hours, I'll wake up Kosh and Jeva, and then we can all go have breakfast together.
Alrighty. I need to test this one on Kosh as well. He did volunteer after all.
She kind of quirks a brow. Curious, but she doesn't say anything.
Vaguely gestures to the now blank scroll. One of the spells I picked up. He volunteered himself for testing after giving me so much shit.
I volunteer as tribute.
Basically.
Well, after breakfast, if he's up for it, we can test it out.
Now that sounds like fun.
So I'm guessing we spend the next, 3 hours or so.
Yeah, 3 hours for the...
Mm-hmm.
And as she copies them, the scrolls go blank.
As she's finishing,
Yeah, as she finishes
she
copying them, the scrolls themselves go blank.
Okay. She closes her book. I'm guessing that you're done?
That's the last of them for today, at least.
She stands. Oh, by the way, I gave your Averlacrums names. Not sure if they'll keep them, but they have just started to discuss how to distinguish themselves from each other.
It's kind of... Looks you mildly confused with a raised eyebrow. You named them?
I did.
You know they're all me, right?
Yes, but not all of our customers can just continuously ask for Ava. Might get confused.
I'm sure they
Or
can clear
if,
it up.
exactly. They'll figure something out. But time to go and wake up Jeva and Kosh. So, however, if you want to go to the tables in the basement, I'll be sure for all of us to meet you down there. But please, for the love that everything is holy, do not attempt to cook.
Well, considering that the kitchen's on the ground floor and not the basement, I don't think we have to worry about that.
I don't know, you could probably burn us all the way down to the basement.
I mean, with magic I probably could.
With your cooking, you could as well. Might as well be considered magic. Deadliest type of magic of all. That's how we're going to kill Tiamat. Invite her to breakfast. It'll blow
Oh,
her
okay, I
mind.
see how it is.
We'll be down there soon. And she goes upstairs because that's where they typically sleep. She makes her rounds, knocks on all the doors, doesn't see them in there, finds it curious. She's like, okay, well, they were training yesterday. So then she's like, okay. Doot doot. She goes. She doesn't hear anything.
Give it a few months. She might.
She opens the door.
All of a sudden, you see Phantom fucking.
What?
No,
Jesus Christ!
not really.
No sex in the dojo.
We haven't put that sign up yet. It's a
We don't think it's
free
needed
for
yet.
all for. That's true. We don't know. We don't. Oh goodness, that's great. All right. So what do my human air quotes eyes see?
You just see Kosh asleep on the floor with Jeva laying on him.
Sai, is he on the floor just laying next to them as well, or is he like curled up at at their feet?
Sai is just kind of there. He doesn't really sleep. He can rest, but it's not like actual sleep.
Right. If there were cameras in this, if there were cameras.
You just hear
She-
Ava over the earring.
she-
Do you need the pots and pans?
No, I'm going to be nice about this. She goes over and she like kneels down to Jeva and she like shakes her shoulder just a little bit. Jeva, it's time to wake up.
Morning.
Morning. What a lovely position you two are in.
I'm just sleeping.
Dude, her fucking bluff is like out of this world. It's like, yeah, I understand that you're sleeping, but do you realize that you were... Never mind. I'm not going to tell you about the precarious position that you were in. Having no need to fucking have the memory of the precarious position she was in last night.
Hey.
Do you want to wake up Kosh? And you both probably need to shower before we eat breakfast together. But Nia and Ava are already downstairs waiting. And as Kosh is our cook, we need to make sure that he's cleanly.
So Nia will actually be in the kitchen.
Oh, Nia's gonna help cook. Okay.
Because something tells
Yeah,
her
we
that
can wake
if
him up.
Kosh is in charge of cooking all the time, it's going to be nothing but meat scepters.
Do you
I
have
wonder-
a problem with Meat Scepter?
I wonder if he has like...
Dietarily, yes.
I hope he has like varying meat scepters for like breakfast, lunch, and dinner. They're all meat scepters, just like the meat changes. Like the
For breakfast,
components
it's
of the
bacon.
meat scepter changes.
Yeah, in the morning, it has an egg on top of it.
Oh goodness. That's one messy meat scepter.
I'll show you a messy Meat Scepter.
Oh my goodness.
Well, hang on, that's future Ava's job, actually.
Okay. So she's going to allow Jeva to wake him up, and then they need to shower because it's an absolute necessity. They've been sweating all day and what she can assume all night. She'll meet them
Oh,
downstairs. Jeva and Kosh were cuddled up in the dojo. They're going to shower and then he's going to cook.
He might have to fight Nia for that one. She's just gone up to the kitchen.
They don't have to fight. We know who would win in that match. Kosh would try to beat her with his meat scepter.
I'm trying not
What's
to
that
scar
supposed to
her
mean?
any more than she is.
Please, she's been here what? 3 days? 4
3
days?
days. Actually, no, yeah, you might be right. This may be day 4 for her. Maybe day
If
5.
all you're worried about is his meat scepters ruining her, you have not properly prepared her for what's going to come up next.
What is he planning? Should I
What
be
is he
concerned that
planning?
my student is going to be running away?
With everything that we've gotten ourselves into over the years, again, if his cooking is the last thing, or if his cooking is going to be the thing that sends her away, then you might not have wasted your time with her at all. There's so much worse.
She
And
was
depending
muttering
on-
something about it'll probably be meat scepters again, so...
Always meat scepters.
Always. I don't know, I find them quite delicious. You get your protein. Sometimes they're mixed with vegetables.
I have yet to
So
see
y-
Kosh eat a vegetable.
What are you talking about? He's eating the tomato on the top.
Aside from that.
Tomato a fruit?
Uh,
I
technically,
think technically
if you
it is
want
a
to,
fruit.
if you want to be that person, yes.
Like,
I'm being
intelligence
that
is knowing
person.
tomato is a fruit. Wisdom is knowing not to put it in a fruit salad.
Yes.
Charisma is selling a tomato-based fruit salad.
But bottom line is, Kosh eats different things with the meat scepters. It's not just constantly meat. It's just, that's what he likes to call it, because it's predominantly meat.
Yes. Gotta get your protein.
Gotta get your protein. Alright, so we're just waiting on everybody to get down here with food. Hopefully, Kosh doesn't beat her with his meat scepter, because he's like, meat scepters for every meal. But
We just start hearing that song again.
Meat scepter's good. Meat scepter.
There it is.
but it has to be in Psy voice.
It's not up right now.
Oh no!
You fool!
Sadness.
We're in a roleplay session and you don't have the side voice up.
He's an important part of this fucking group, Scott.
That moment when I realized the only teleportation ability Nia has is Dimension Door. At least the short range stuff. And she's not going to cast Dimension Door just to go downstairs. She's not Ava, using Abundant Step to blip all over the house. I'm glad I designed this place with 2 bathrooms.
Yeah, definitely.
So probably by the time they are finishing their showers, Nia starts coming down. Multiple plates, like, balancing on her arms like waiters do. Just starts putting them on the table. There's more upstairs, by the way.
Impressive. Do you need help getting them to the table?
I could use a hand, yeah.
All right. So she goes up to help.
It takes a couple trips between them.
Perfectly fine. Rehne just follows suit. She just carries as many as she possibly can. Puts them all on the table, and then doubles back one last time. And then she proceeds to go upstairs. Gets in the center. Kosh, Jeva,
Yes.
breakfast is served. So if you're finishing,
I thought we were preparing that.
You can make meat scepters if you would like. Nia made, I'm guessing, a regular breakfast. But if you're wanting your own, and of course I wouldn't mind a meat scepter too.
Ho ho!
You just hear through the earring. It looks like she did materials for it, so you can make your own.
So we can construct our own meat scepters at the table.
Yes.
Good.
Along with more
I'll meet
normal
you.
fare.
Meat scepters are normal, at least for our group. She goes downstairs. She begins compiling her plate.
Ava doesn't have too much on there. She's still eating as little as she can get away with.
She also has the ring of sustenance.
Yeah.
So, like, eating for her is, like, minimal. But for those of them that like to have, like, something actually, like, taste, make it feel a little bit more real.
The main reason she's doing it is because she knows that Rehne will probably just glare at her until she eats something.
Hell yeah, she would.
So that's pretty much the only reason she's actually eating anything.
The dojo comfortable to sleep in?
Oh, yes, it was fine.
Well, I did make sure the floors were padded.
We just became too tired. It reminded me of my younger days.
Not like you're that old. I think we
Wasn't Kosh
No,
like 26?
Yeah, but I would train for hours when I was a teen.
You're 26, Kosh.
I had 27. Thank you.
Not yet, you're not.
Close enough.
Speaking of birthday parties,
You already know my stance on this.
you're having one and so is Kosh.
Kosh can have one all he wants. I don't want one.
You don't like parties?
You don't have time for parties.
Look, if we have time to eat breakfast, which we do, we can have a little bit of cake.
And eat it.
And I'll be making it. You see Ava just like start pinching the bridge of her nose, just like this frustrated groan just emanating from her.
We could be doing much worse.
Considering the threat that we're dealing with, and we don't know how long we have.
So we should use every day to the best of our abilities. And celebrating one's birth is important. Without you being here, Ava, a lot of us wouldn't have survived many encounters.
I'm sure you would have found a way.
Jeva just looks over at Ava. Do you not like fun?
Fucking Jeva just straight out like called Ava out. Like, are you a killjoy?
It's quiet for a minute. There is a world-ending threat on the horizon. And we are trying to prepare to stop this threat. And we don't know how long we have until that threat actually comes around. As far as we know, the cult's ready. God knows why they're holding back.
But we have to live our lives. If we don't enjoy what we have right now, how are we going to enjoy it after? And what if we don't have the time after?
To catch 22.
We do what we can with what time we have. And if we're all assuming that we have no time at all, if tomorrow is not guaranteed, then we have to be happy with what we do in that day. And I, for one, will be happy to. She kind of pauses for a second. And she kind of has this, like, scrunched or furrowed brow. I'd like to think that celebrating with all of you is worth it.
While Kosh is just like shoveling food in, he's like, I mean, I'm always up for a good time.
Speaking of good time, Kosh, Ava
Yeah?
says that you volunteered.
You beat me to it.
Mm. She has something.
Volunteered.
Yes, I have some
To be a-
spells to test. And you volunteered yourself a couple days ago.
I don't believe I actually said anything as such, but
Are you not up for the challenge?
no, I have no fear of Ava. I doubt.
Rain just kind of stops eating for a second and just looks at him like the meme with the equations.
Yeah,
Everybody's seen that meme, right? she's like, does he know what the fuck he's talking about? She could murder him. I could
Yeah,
murder
but
him.
but the thing is, like, he has no fear of her actually harming him.
Yeah. So like, but her mind goes to, death. Like,
Yeah.
that's just how her mind works. It's just like, I'd fear the fuck out of Ava if she was coming after me. That most certainly would be troublesome.
Legit, I was just thinking, well, Kosh has made a mistake. I don't fear one of the most powerful spellcasters in the realm. No, not at all.
The soon-to-be god.
She is not a god.
Not yet, she's not.
Well, she's not going to be a god anyway. She'll just be a powerful celestial being.
Yeah, god.
No, god implies worship. Oh, fuck.
She is going to be worshipped by some
That was the
fucking
oh
weird
fuck.
cult. Okay.
Oh, I was thinking it was gonna be Rain.
Oh,
Oh,
well,
no, that's later.
yeah. We mentioned that sooner rather. Well, I mean, any way that it fucking starts, she'll be on her knees enough to fucking
Oh god.
worship her.
Oh my.
Oh my.
Okay, John's relogging.
Okay. So
this spell would be best done where we have a clear ceiling. Namely, none at all. So, to the backyard!
Where's the backyard?
We'll just use the garden.
I aside.
So, Kosh, I'm going to need you to stand very still.
Alright.
It means you don't move. You understand?
I understand.
Good. And I cast Air Geyser. So you feel air start to stir around beneath you before you're launched straight up.
Is there a save?
You agreed to stand still. It would have been a reflex save.
Fair.
You agreed to stand still, so
Alright.
you are launched straight up. The force of the air deals 2d6 points of bludgeoning damage. 6. And you see Kosh just shoot up 115 feet in the air. Just straight up.
You just see him like piccolo stance, like just cross-armed in the air, unmoved.
It was just like
Right.
as he shoots up, it's like I didn't expect him to go quite that high.
Rain whistles. It's like,
And about 20 feet before you hit the ground, I'll cast Featherfall, so you don't
Alright.
take falling damage.
Fair.
And a Cure Light Wounds. So you're fine.
Sea Rain? Nothing to fear.
I would never think that you were any less resilient than to be able to take what Ava can partially dish out.
Oh, if I was being harsh, I would have let him hit the ground.
Or do something a little bit more dangerous.
I do have some more spells to learn. Hmm.
Do you actually know what Tiamat is capable of?
5-headed evil dragon god. I don't think anyone could really know what she's capable of.
Be legends of what her presumed abilities are. If she is so fiendish.
Legends aren't exactly the most reliable source of information.
No, but most of them do stem from a little bit of truth.
We'd have to
I
see what
just-
we come up with.
I just wish we had a little bit more knowledge. That way we're not going in there blind. Do you think the council would have any information? Or maybe Silvera?
Of those two, I think Silvera would be the most likely bet, considering.
Or the gentleman that saved us?
Or an arm. It's possible, though I think he may be a little tied up at the moment. He was lucky to be able to get through and pull us out of the fire.
Alright, then I suggest that we take the time to seek out Silvera to have a little bit more understanding about what we may be facing.
We do have some other things we need to do, though. We have a long list of items to make.
I may be making a trip soon. It shouldn't take me too terribly long.
What do you call not too terribly long?
I'll have to reevaluate that when I get there.
Currently going over item lists. Would you be able to hold off for a couple weeks? We still need to make the Spellbanes, the Third Eyes, and the Death Proofing.
Exactly a couple of weeks?
2 weeks and a day. It should be enough to
I
get
could
your
make that
gear
work.
sorted.
I could make that work. I'll be right back, guys.
Okay.
Okay.
Awesome.
Yeah.
By the way, I'm back.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
So, when Ava's asking Rehne to hold off,
Hmm.
there's this look of concern on her face, but Ava's not sure why. Aside from the obvious that we've almost died recently and Rehne's going off on her own, and we haven't finished the craft yet.
As I can wait. I just wanted to communicate that I might be gone for a little bit of time before we head off to whatever we may face. Because if we do succeed, I'd like to come back and have a fresh start.
Also, Meg, I was going through our chat.
Yeah.
Rehne could actually have picked up the language because you hadn't actually picked languages from the points in linguistics that you had until I mentioned it. And the Astral was one of the languages you chose when I noticed that. So she could have understood.
Awesome.
So she could have understood the faint thank you.
Okay. Sounds good.
Just like thinking back through our chat's going, hang on a sec.
Yeah, I do think that she'd be curious as to how she learned that language.
When she figures it out.
You said that she'd understood, right?
Yeah,
Rehne
but
would be
if
able to
Ava figures
understood.
it out.
But when Ava figures out that Rehne knows it, because Ava's the only person that actually knows the language, as far as she's aware, because she created the language. It's just that Rehne's picked up on it because she's been talking in her sleep recently.
Oh ho ho! Now who is sleeping together and
Okay, look, we don't actually sleep side by side like the last couple of times. I don't know who you think you're calling out.
The first time she would have heard it would have been the reveal night. So, and Ava was the
Yeah.
first one to fall asleep and the last one to wake up of the two.
Right.
So, yeah.
I mean, who's to say you are now just noticing that it's kind of a normal thing?
Oh, goodness.
Well then, before you decide to start gallivanting off to do whatever it is you are going to be doing, we've got some crafting to work on.
Well, let's get to it.
And we also have some extra things to give you. All 4 of you.
Jeva, head to the dojo and take Sai with you.
Well,
He'll be good enough to instruct.
I have things for Jeva as well.
Well, after you receive your presents.
Meet me in the basement. Just gotta go get them.
Wait, I can't grab my tokens now. John!
I can
I
grab
didn't do
Jeva,
anything.
I can't grab Kosh.
Grab myself either.
I can.
That's a very bad.
That's
big
weird because
problem.
I can grab. Well, I know I've got permissions for Rehne's sheet, so I can grab her token as well. And I've got permissions for Jeva's sheet. Why am I the only one unaffected by this? Have either of you tried refreshing?
Yes,
I mean, I just refreshed.
same.
I'll do it again.
If it doesn't work, John may need to look at the permissions again. Because we've had this happen once before and it was fucking annoying.
Kosh's token is still linked to Kosh, which
Check the
Not
sheet
control.
permissions, John. Under edit and control.
Yeah, I can select mine now after I've refreshed. But I don't want to have to refresh each time I use the area of effect, you know?
I used the area effect. I haven't refreshed, and I can still control all tokens I have access to.
Okay. So,
It's probably just a one-off glitch. So yeah, Eva says meter in the basement.
okay. Alright.
And then heads inside to start grabbing things.
Can you move your token yet?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay, okay.
So Eva heads up to Vault 2. And as she rounds the corner from the stairs, she's holding this pile of books. Just like, can't see her face. They're stacked up high enough. And carefully, like, wanders over, puts them down on the table, and just sorts through them really quickly into 4 different piles. Okay. So there's going to be some study for all of you. God, I sound like a teacher.
Alright, Professor, what are we reading?
Okay, so she points to one of the 3 piles. So there's 2 3. Actually, no, there's only 1 3 pile. So she points to the 3 pile and says, "That's yours, Rehne."
She takes her pile.
Then the 3 piles of 4. There's 1 for Kosh, 1 for Jeva, and 1 for Nia. And she indicates which one goes to who. Each one of these needs to be read within a week of starting for the effects to take place. Rehne, you may remember there was a book that I'd got you last time we went through one of these mass crafting sessions, it's similar to that.
Oh. All right, easy enough.
So the books for Rehne are Constitution, Intellect, and Wisdom, all +4. The ones for Kosh are Strength, Dexterity, Constitution, and Wisdom, all at +4. The ones for Jeva are Dexterity, Constitution, Wisdom, and Charisma. Constitution and Charisma are +5. Dex and Wisdom are +4. I think I've added those already. I can't remember. I think I added those to Jeva already. Yes, I did, because we discussed it last time. And I was going to leave it in appearance, but then I asked about the temporaries, and that was that. Meg, I believe the values for yours are in your temporary slot. Yes, they are.
Okay. So do I need to do anything?
You'll basically just have to move the numbers across. So they'll be permanent bonuses. I only had them in temporary so we could see what was going on. And Nia has a set of her own, which I'll take care of myself.
So I'll just add it to my intelligence, my con, and my wisdom.
Yeah. And then take out the
Alright.
temporary bonuses.
All right. Nice. A 30 in con, 26 in intelligence, and a 24 in wisdom.
Yeah, that extra intelligence will also give you more skill points.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to be a thing. Alright. Well, seeing as our red-headed rogue will be departing for a little while, in a couple of weeks, I say we take care of the safety bits first for her then. Then we can work on everyone else.
Sounds like a plan.
And thus begins the crafting. Okay, so Deathproofing, Third Eye, and Spellbane for Rehne will take... I need a calculator. 7 plus 4, 4 plus 4. So that'll take 15 days. Like I said, 2 weeks and a day.
Mm-hmm.
And then once those are done, I'm assuming she's going to go off.
Yeah, she'll probably check back in with Zaz first because she was supposed to receive information and she hadn't yet.
Hmm.
So that'd be her first thing is checking in with Zaz because she needs that information before she can start hunting.
John, I think John is like, I don't have that information. Considering the ...
Yep, that's okay. That's all right. It can always be something that takes a minute to get.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So, probably at some point before she departs, probably towards the end of the the safety upgrades that prevent scrying and the death effects and whatnot, and the anti-magic fields, because fucking anti-magic fields. I hate them. I hate them like I hate Vorpal weapons.
Hey, I like my Vorpals, thank you.
One of the evenings, Rehne will probably find Ava passed out at the table with a number of books piled around her and 2 decks of cards, one on either side, one of which she recognizes as Ava's usual deck,
Hmm.
and the other, I'm not sure how much she remembers of the Adele fight because she
She
was
got fucking.
confused.
Yep, she got fucking bewildered.
So she may not recognize the other set that looks somewhat similar to Ava's deck, but there are some differences as well. Instead of being the light blue with gold trim design, they're a deep purple with a silver trim.
Well, I mean, even if she doesn't recognize the cards, her immediate thought is this going to become a thing where I find you asleep and passed out? And again, like every time that she finds Ava in like a vulnerable position or place, it's like those questions come up and she's not prepared to face them. So it's one of those things where it's like she helps Ava, but like while she's doing it, it brings up so many annoying and pestering feelings and questions. So it's something that she also like loathes because it makes her feel differently than what she's prepared to feel. So of course she's like helping her get back to her bedroom. She's going to be like, start doing shit in your room. Like, because it's going to start grating on her nerves. Because it's something that she's not prepared to face. It's like her sense of balance came back with her parents coming back, and even though they're not necessarily close, she knows that they're safe, and for her that's enough. But adding in, the fact that she might hold other people as dear, because again, it's kind of almost one of those things when you're taught as an assassin is to completely erase your feelings so that you don't get attached in case your target becomes someone that you may be close to. So it's going against her training. She doesn't like that. But she always helps against her better judgment. Like, she helps. That's also grading.
Though on this occasion, it's slightly different on this occasion. Because she does actually wake up. Like, bolting upwards. Eyes wide for a moment before she blinks a couple times and rubs one of them. For looking at the book and the two decks in front of her. And just closing the book and leaning back. Can't work it
She
out.
just kind of sighs. Having difficulties.
Looking for things that we can use. And I can't work out how she did it.
Who did what?
Adele. Her deck is unlike any Astrologian deck I've ever seen before.
And you're having difficulty understanding it?
Yeah.
It's unusual.
Well, typically, an Astrologian would use the deck known as the deck of 60, which is the one you see me use all the time. But this one, it just doesn't fit. I can't make sense
Fit
of it.
as in.
It doesn't work in fortune the way mine does. I can't describe it.
So, what are the next measures you need to take to be able to comprehend what's going on?
I don't know. I was hoping I might be able to make use of it myself, but I just can't work it out.
Have you tried using them?
Without success. There's something I'm missing with them, and I just can't put my finger on what.
You don't believe it has something to do with how Adele was, do you?
In that she was almost an Archon, or the whole demon transformation thing.
I mean, do you think it could be connected to her rituals?
I don't think so. I haven't been able to put anything necromantic to them.
Mm.
So I don't think it has to do with her little experiments.
Good.
If it did, I would
So,
have
what are you
burned them
going to
already.
try next?
For now, I might have to let this go for a bit. It'll be keeping me up if I keep trying to work this one out.
Maybe it's something you could come back to when after you talk to someone. Maybe there are other astrologians that you could connect with.
Maybe. I'm fairly certain the other astrologians probably have ties to Adele, which means they probably won't be too friendly. So all of her, whatever she was calling them, they were all using the deck of 60 as well. She was the only one using a unique deck.
Well, maybe you should take some time out of your busy day and try and figure it out. Figure it out through communicating with others. We can always go with you and assist you should things go awry.
We'd have to find them first. Maybe it'll come to me later. She starts putting the cards away. Oh, we should probably get back to the crafting. Especially if you have places to be.
I do.
So we finished the death proof, the third eye, and the spellbane.
And that's already added to my.
Yeah, all the
Yeah.
crafting gear stuff has already been added. It's just the
Okay.
time and the RP in the time that we had planned.
Okay.
I gotta use the restroom. I'll be right back.
Okay. So the crafts will continue while Rehne does her thing.
Which I'm currently working the information for.
Okay.
We need more time for the next part of our plan, Meg.
You mean you want to take it a little slower?
No, like we need more time skip,
Oh, yeah, definitely.
which is why we got to wait for John's information. Because most of what's happening is like every now and then Rehne might find Ava nodding off somewhere in the house. Sometimes with books
Right.
in front of her. Sometimes it'll just be on the couch. Probably with a book in her lap. Or on her face. And in the intervening time, she's taken her hair down as well. Left it up for a bit. She's taken out the braid now.
Her hair is going to be so curly. Unless it doesn't curl. If her hair's pinned straight, it'll just go back down into its normal.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that one.
Because essentially when it's wet and it gets braided, if her hair has any texture to it, it'll hold. It'll hold that curl.
Fuck it, she gets curls on occasion.
Cute. Ava with curls. Adorable.
Usually her hair is straight. Sometimes it gets curls.
Okay. So after she receives the information that she receives, she's glad that she's alone when she receives it.
Oh.
Yeah, because this makes her very unhappy. There's a part of it that she keeps to herself. She kind of takes that information and places it within her cloak so that it can only be so that it's guarded from everybody else. But then she approaches actually, no, she doesn't even have to approach. Over the earring, she says, and her light-hearted charm is just completely gone as she speaks to them. I need to see everyone in the basement.
So Nia wouldn't receive this message.
Mm-mm.
So she would be studying, so she would be in her room. Because she doesn't have an earring.
Is everyone here? Like Scott, Brandon, you both?
Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
definitely here.
All right. When everyone enters, the whole atmosphere around Rehne is completely different. She's not cheerful. She is not smiling. Her expression almost appears blank, if not for an edge of like anger. She takes a look at Ava, Jeva, and Kosh, and she says, I've received information. This information has come to us in a very timid and unfortunate time. However, I don't believe that it can wait. I can't explain to you how I received this information, just that I received it, and I'm bringing it to you in the hopes that you can aid me. She pulls out this letter. The letter is torn, but she pulls out this torn letter, and she starts to read off. There is a sect of the Silver Flame that has been completely divided from them. They're called the Servants of the Pure Flame, and they are led by the House of Demelek, but they are led by a lady. She's leading a new crusade against mages. They're hunting down what they call heretical demon worshippers. They blame mages and or arcane spellcasters for the evil currently in the world. They're taking into consideration the talents of Tiamat as proof that mages are to blame for what's happening.
Does she say the name
They're,
of the lady?
just that she's the lady of House Demelek. She'll get to the name later. We'll get to the name later. Just give me a second. These Puritans are burning mages at the stake. And those that submit are becoming feeble-minded. What I'm going to ask you next is something that, if we weren't so crunched for time, I probably wouldn't ask. But I believe it'd be fair to say that Lady Janara Demelek, I believe that she is causing more chaos and more ruin than good. So I believe that it would be in our best interest to take her out. I should also mention that the Pure Flame also went through a lycanthropic purge at one point, and continues to believe that their lycanthric blood is impure. They seek to destroy everything that they see as substantial blame or anything that could possibly go against their faith. as a force that they need to remove. I know that this will impede our progress, but I fear if we wait, we may end up with too many casualties. The very ones that could be helping us prevent Tiamat could be killed before we're able to go against her. If she's summoned and a vast majority of our assistance is taken out because of these purists, we might as well just allow Tiamat to kill us herself. Would you help me in stopping them?
Well, it sounds like it's my duty to.
Ava, Jeva, I know that this is a sensitive topic to you. Will you be able to go up against them?
Kosh has taught me how to set fear aside.
Ava has
course
just
Ava.
Of
gone
course, I'll be there for my friend.
incredibly pale. You can see her hands are just like she's backed up against the bar and just as some kind of support, and her hands are just shaking. And you remember when she showed you that journal?
Mm-hmm.
That surname was in it. The name, the Servants of the Pure Flame, was in it.
Ava, I understand if this is too much to ask of you.
How long do we have?
No one knows for sure, right? We're running on borrowed time, if you will. But the fear here is that the pure flames will come together with the silver flame and truly be something to fear. My sources tell me that the lady of the pure flame and the cardinal of the silver flame have been meeting, which does not boast well. It means that if they should draw their power together, they might be a formidable force that will lay ruin to many different peoples. Mages, shifters, lichens, all of them are in danger. Anyone that could possibly pose a threat to their faith might be in danger. This could be a whole nother and different blight entirely.
When she says might be in danger, Ava's just shaking her head. There's no might. There's no maybe. So, outside of the RP, if we go in now, we're not going to have all of the items. Just putting that out there.
Right. But that's the whole reason why she's bringing it up now.
Mm.
So it's like she's asking them basically to hold off on doing creations. Because the longer that they wait, the more almost like symbiotic or hybrid the two sects of this of faiths come together, and that means more carnage. So it's like, who knows what the difference is between, a day or 2 weeks if Janara and Crozen actually like make a pact to work together under. I mean, they could probably call it what do they call them? The pure silver flame. Like they could come together and unite and create this massive army of hateful and vengeful powerhouse. Like it's something that she wants to avoid. So taking her out and most likely hitting the church very hard. It's very, very rare that she asks for help unless it's from her organization. And the thing is she's gonna have to bring them in on it too. So it's
basically from the point where the surnames were mentioned after she backed up to the bar. She's been looking down. She looks up dead in Rehne's eyes. 6 days. We need one more layer of protection. That'll take 6 days.
Do you need me here during those 6 days?
I'll need Kosh, the Everlacrums, and Nia. Whatever you need to do in those 6 days to prepare, do it.
I'll be taking my leave then. I'll see you in 6 days.
Give me a location so we can get to you.
I can't do that, but I'll meet you back here.
Okay.
Okay. And then Rehne leaves. She goes and she enters the bar. So she makes another trip out there. And she goes around to everyone in the establishment that knows Rehne's identity, like who she is, and she just passes along the word that they need to reconvene at the organization headquarters. And once they reconvene there, she tells them their next set of orders. And their next set of orders are to take down everyone, whether that's by force or she wants it done silently. If they have to use force as an extreme measure, then it's allowed. But everyone that seems to be contributing to any type of burnings or capturing of the changeling shifter or lycanthrope, as well as any mages. So anyone in those denominations, if they're being hurt by any one of the silver flame or of the pure flame, then they are to be taken down. She is telling them to stay strictly away from the cardinals of both the silver flame and the pure flame, as well as Miss Ganara and Lady Ganara and Cardinal Nathaniel Crozen, because those two targets will be unfortunately too challenging for them to take on. So they'll need to be taken on by her and those that she's invited. She also wants them to watch the Cardinal, though, and to specifically find out all the information that they possibly can about the females that call themselves the Seraphs. She wants every bit of information on those 7 females, period. And she takes those 6 days to travel with a small sect of her own organization, which includes her second. So she takes her second, herself, and a handful of her best people, and they do the grunge work about finding out about these 7 hooded Templars, finding out their names, what they do, how they look. Like, they're extremely careful, but they take the time to find out every detail, every passage that they go through, all of their routines, everything that they could possibly find out, to find at least one that is the weak link. They also find or attempt to find layouts of the Cathedral of the Silver Flame.
Okay.
So that they have a legit map. And that means if they have to buy it on the black market, if they have to take the word from ex-Silver Flame members. They also do that for the Pure Flame as well. So their main base of operations, they do all of the mapping of their primary residence. And they track down all of the major cities that are being affected the most, so that they compile information about which ones to head to first, so that they can prevent the most casualties. Trying to think of anything else that she would set them out to do. She would also have a smaller unit that would go to the aid of the mages, the Lycans, the shifters, and the changelings, as well as the doppelgangers that are being targeted, and help them escape. So that's kind of what she spends the next 6 days doing.